Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
It is yet another edition of Incredible Life Stories with me, Simon Kasyate. On the program, as you are aware, if you're not a first-time viewer of this program, this is where ordinary folks tell their extraordinary life stories. But also this is a place where incredible life stories are shared, if for nothing else, to inspire someone going through exactly what the person on the set has gone through in the past and yet has survived, thrived, excelled, and has lived long enough to come right here and share the incredible life story. So I don't know any place where you find inspiration more than on Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate. Tonight on the program, even more inspirational if you ask me. Without preempting the conversation, the depth of an issue, but the hope that comes out of being in what many refer to as rock bottom. This is a program to watch. On the program, I have a lady that has preferred that I call her or describe her as follows: an alcoholic in recovery. Powerful. Imagine that. A lady. And we know how difficult it is for people to come and tell their story, especially when it comes to substance and drug abuse. Alcohol abuse, one of the major stumbling issues affecting not just this generation and not just in this country, but looks like across the world in a generation that many have put their hopes to carry our world forward, at least for other generations to come. Yet, that same generation continues to grapple with alcohol and substance abuse. But guess what? There's hope. There's a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. And that's why Carol Kyomuhendo, Carol, is with us on the program. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Simon. It's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Did I give you an apt description? Do you feel I described you well, or have I underrated you?
No, you have described me exactly as I am. I'm an alcoholic, but in recovery.
That doesn't seem to come off as a statement someone would proudly want to describe themselves as. Yet, you seem to be very comfortable in your skin, to look into the camera, to look me in the eye and say you're an alcoholic in recovery.
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means that basically I have had an alcohol problem for a very long time. People have known about it. People have seen me dead drunk. So I am proud to say I am still an alcoholic, because we say one day at a time. I don't know what will happen tomorrow, but I am confident that nothing will happen. But I'm in recovery, meaning that I am putting my past life behind. It
Carol,
doesn't happen in a day. Yes, sir.
Are you sober now?
Yes, I am very much sober, 100%.
Hangovered?
No. Surprisingly.
We need to set the stage right so that as we continue with the program, our viewers and listeners are sure that they're listening to somebody speaking from the depth of sobriety,
Yes.
but appreciating the fact that they have come from a place that's a difficult place.
No hangover, no withdrawals, just my life at the best I can possibly be.
You feel better now than how it used to be when you had the kick and the high.
I don't even think better describes how I feel.
Really? That's
Yes,
powerful.
it is so much more rewarding just to be sober. Just to get up and dress up, put on makeup, bathe. Basic things like that, which I couldn't do when I was still drinking.
Later on the program, you will tell us about the Damascus moment, that
Yes.
moment that transformed you from the drunk to the sober.
Yes.
But yes, you feel good. You look good.
Thank you.
You sound good.
Yes.
But you can't wish away the shadow of the past and what that meant for you. Do you want us to go back there?
Yes.
Maybe let's start from where it all begins. Who are you? Where were you born? To whom were you born?
Okay.
Let's start from there.
All right. My name is Kyomuhendo, Carol. I was born to, I have two sets of parents. I have my birth parents.
The ones we call biological parents.
I think even your uncle can be a biological parent because you're biologically related. But
I love
anyway,
that.
Yes, I have my birth parents. My birth mother died when I was very young. And then my birth father died when I was 8 years old.
So your mother died when you were before 8?
Yes, I was around 4, 5 years. So I don't really have any recollection about her. I don't know anything about that side of my genealogy. But I also have 2 incredibly amazing parents that raised me from the time I was 5 years old, even when my dad was still alive. Yes, those are the parents I know as my dad and my mom. They have painstakingly taken care of me through the worst years of my life, through the best years of my life.
Wow.
I was born in Bushenyi. That's where I will be buried.
I'm glad that you have already made a decision on where you will be buried, and that you won't be cremated and your ashes sprinkled in the Mediterranean.
Well, that can change, but for now, I hope that I'll be buried next to my ancestors.
Wow.
Yes, I was born in Bushenyi. I am the firstborn on my birth father's side, but I am the 3rd child on my parents' side.
The ones that raised you.
Yes. So during this discussion, when I refer to my parents, I'm just referring to Mr. and Mrs. Karoro, the Professor and Dora Karoro. Karoro is a family name. So Okrut was my paternal aunt.
Oh, yes.
My parents are Professor Emmanuel Karoro and Dora Karoro.
Tremendous.
Yes.
That name is a strong name.
Yes.
Raising a child like you over the years and the circumstances you're going to describe for us.
Yes.
We will see the weight of that name on you.
Yes.
And the things that you are involved in. But now, Prof and his dear wife take you on.
Yes, take me on.
Treat you like an own child.
Sometimes most of my growing up, I forgot that I was not actually their birth child.
Because they treated you.
They treated me so good to the extent that my siblings still believe up to date that my dad spoiled me to a fault. Which maybe he did, but I felt...
Without regret anyway.
Yes, I felt incredibly loved
Wow.
growing up. And I had a great childhood. I had a happy childhood with 6 other siblings. We grew up together. I was excelling in school.
Wow.
Yes. I went to Namagunga after P7.
Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary's.
On merit.
On merit, from a very, very local school in Barara. Not known at that time, not even known today.
Perhaps you're the only one that has made it out of that school to a place like Mount St. Mary's.
No, as years went by, people started coming up.
That means you were
But
the
I
first.
think I was the first to
wow.
make such an impact in that school, to go to Mount St. Mary's. These days you can go if you have connections. Those days it had to be purely on merit.
On merit.
Yeah. So I went back for my A-level. I was intelligent. I was excelling at
Why are you
everything.
using the word was? Has that changed much? You're not intelligent
I
anymore?
haven't. I haven't yet reached to that point where I believe I've gone totally back.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was a good girl. As a good girl, I didn't know anything about all the stuff that later happened to me. Things changed when I was at university.
Okay, things change at university. But let's first go back to your formative years.
Yes.
As growing up as a little child, any exposure that tempted you earlier on, maybe access to alcohol, access to any form of temptation that would possibly explain why at the university?
Yes, there was alcohol. My father was a drinker, but what we call a social drinker. He would drink his glass of wine or his glass of gin. Later on in the day, I've never seen him drink during the day, like at night. And then we were 7 children. We all had little glasses to drink with him. My families, mostly they are heavy drinkers. I had seen all that growing up, but I had never been tempted. In fact, I hated the sight of people being drunk. Almost all the workers at home were drinking.
And isn't that like the number one quality of many domestic workers anyway, especially if they are farm workers?
I don't know, somehow they were all heavy drinkers. But it did not tempt me in any way to want. No one wants a life of addiction, but I didn't think, because I was exposed to alcohol and because my family were drinkers, I didn't think it would eventually end up in an addiction. Because my dad could give me a glass of wine, I could take it, and after that, I didn't even know that there was such a term as addiction, such a condition as addiction.
Later on, of course, you'll be telling us, in fact, the depth of addiction and how one can actually tell without being told, or showing that they're actually getting down the path of addiction and possibly almost hitting a point of no return.
Yeah.
So what happened to you at the university? What course had you been admitted for?
I was doing social sciences. I was staying inside the university. I did love to go to the club. Yes. But I would still go to the club, and I didn't.
But also, maybe because of the absence of that kind of freedom in schools like Mount St. Mary's in Magunga, and maybe a home like yours, whenever you get to a space like the university where the freedom is unfettered, you tend to indulge because you're more like coming from prison setting. I
did indulge, but I'd say my biggest indulgement was the clubbing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then you go home. The drinking was minimal. If at all. Very minimal. Yeah.
And then?
2004.
You in what year?
I had started my last year at campus. 2004. I meet what would later become my biggest stumbling block in life. I'm sorry to say. 2004, I met this man. He was older, he was married, but I fell head over heels.
In love with him?
I don't know if I can call it love now that I look back. Maybe infatuation. Maybe
you have your English words lined up.
Maybe some kind of obsession.
Somehow I knew that there's a man at 40.
I know there's always a man behind women's dysfunction.
Oh my goodness! So should we say the same, that there is always a woman behind a man?
Usually, yeah. And now this man was a party person. He was a drinker, his friends were drinkers, and you know that pressure to please.
Yes.
To please your first relationship, you really go all the way. Yeah. And so somehow he convinced me.
Enrolled you.
Yeah, but I also don't want to put the blame totally on him, because even me, I don't know if it was an insecurity problem. I started feeling like if I don't drink, he will leave me.
He will leave you, and
because I'm boring.
You're not giving him the vibes.
He did leave me, ironically, for drinking too much.
So you did not know at what point it should stop. So
yes.
you just flipped the scale.
Yes, like the moment I started, it just went downhill.
Oh.
Yes.
So, what were you drinking? Let's start from there.
I started from Black Label. What a way to start.
Blended whiskey. You started from the premiership.
Yes. But it didn't matter, because alcohol. Yes, and I think science says some of us are predisposed to getting the addiction more than others, so I don't think it matters. I could have taken Smirnoff Ice, which they say is the weakest, and it would still have led to an addiction.
They say, but I think the taste of the pudding is in the eating, like you said. Different people have different tolerance levels. I've been told by a couple of folks that I've interviewed on this particular program that have gone through your kind of situation, and many of them have actually gone ahead to give us, descriptive insights into the science of addiction. But that is what you get with the benefit of hindsight. Now we are rolling in how it all started. Do you have a recollection of that first shot or that first moment when you, in your bid to please this man,
Yes.
kicked off?
I even remember it was early January. It was 2005 now.
Wow.
He picked me from the beach. I had gone to the beach with my friends. We went, we had a whiskey. I'll never forget that feeling, Simon. I didn't like the taste of it in its mouth, in my mouth. That feeling, the high.
Wow.
I felt like I was on cloud nine.
You were floating in the clouds.
Yeah, because and a lot of people don't know this about me. I'm a very timid person, especially if I'm not yet very used to you. But now I could talk openly. I could express my feelings. This is someone I've been with like since August 2004, and now this is January.
So at that point, the alcohol removed the timidity.
I stopped being shy. I stopped being inhibited. I could now express everything.
You went full throttle into what we
Yes.
call public display of affection.
And I think as cunning as men are, he said, this is the secret.
So this is where I want her.
Yeah.
This is how to get into her.
Yeah, so of course, eventually later on in that very January, he got what he had wanted, what men always want from women.
Well, we have this a family program, and we sure some children are watching.
Yes.
We'll allow the parents to explain to them exactly what it is that you intend to do. Let's not be graphic.
Okay. Yes.
And on that note, let's take a short break on the program. When we return, we now start walking the journey of descent into now what possibly one would term as commercial consumption. It's incredible life stories with Simon Kasyate. On the program, Carol. Let's be back for more of her story.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
And so the journey into the abyss of alcoholism began because of an affection you had towards a man to whom you could only be very expressive after a couple of shots.
Yes.
How did that go?
Unfortunately for me, Simon, my addiction was not progressive. The moment I drank, I was just an immediate addict.
What?
Yeah.
So from that moment, you began to say you can only function effectively.
Yes, if I have drunk something.
But that was towards showing affection and giving the vibes to this man.
Yes,
but you had other things going for you. You were in class, you were a student, you were, had friends. So did it also spiral down to say, I can't be in class without a shot?
No, I actually used to go to class and study, but then
looking forward.
But yes,
now
I had started actually putting alcohol in my room, so that the moment I come from class, even if I have some space between classes, I take some, go back to class. Yes. And I was almost always high. Now, remember, this is a married man. So now I find that I can talk to him when I am only intoxicated.
But the time when you're intoxicated, he's probably with his wife and his so many other concubines. He will be on the program to tell us his own story, but clearly you're not a lone ranger in that field.
I wasn't.
You were part of a crowd.
Yes.
Sadly. Did you know that from the beginning?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. So now...
You must have had quite a charm.
I think it's habits that you develop later on in life that kind of bring a dysfunction, because these are things I was supposed to do when I was 17, 18. As a teenager, I didn't give my parents much headache.
Oh, yes.
Then I gave them when I was 22, 23 onwards.
At what point do your parents get to know that you're spiraling down?
My parents got to know in 2006.
That's 2 years into this whole thing.
Yes, after this guy had broken up with me. And I think the reason they got to know, They would hear stories that now I'm drinking, but because they were in Bushenyi, I was in Kampala.
And whenever you go to Bushenyi, you double
No, whenever I would go to Bushenyi, I would still drink. But this is the reason that they didn't know. My dad would give me a glass of wine, and I would have a bottle of crude warrage in the bedroom.
So you're sipping on wine.
I'm
here.
sipping on wine,
You go to
go
the
to the
bedroom?
bedroom and sip on my warrage. When I finish dinner, now I go and start a whole new section on warrage, because I was unemployed. I didn't have money to buy good alcohol. If I wanted good alcohol, I had to steal it from my dad.
And that also happened?
Yes, I would go and pretend as if I'm going to get maybe ice cubes, and I would take a swig from the bottle or pour in a cup and take. You know how stealing is. You're hiding.
You know, I'm trying to close my eyes and
Yes.
make a mental impression of a young, beautiful girl, straight out of university, tiptoeing into the house and looking out for the wine cellar. And
Yeah. Now it became a full-time obsession.
the hangovers?
No, the hangovers not yet, because now I'm at home, so I can eat, I can have a soda, I can feed well. But now it became a full-time obsession. I would go after my dad, see if he has left the key in the cupboard, so that I run after him and take something that I can, go back to my bedroom. And my bedroom, the window is just directly, it goes directly outside. So sometimes I would just go buy the alcohol, put it on the window, then go as if I've just been taking a walk and pick it from the window.
And then you first start conniving with the workers at home.
Yeah,
and
of
supply.
course.
They became
There
more
is always someone who's
The
willing
plan.
to do for you the dirty work, yes. So I think my parents started noticing when my behavior started changing. I would lock myself in my room.
You began to isolate yourself.
Yes. Of course, when I didn't want to get out for them to see that I have been drinking, now I started hiding. Yes.
But drinking also brings along its other attendant behaviors.
Yes.
Other than just that. You possibly start maybe smoking, you start indulging in illicit sexual exploits and all that. At the point when you were heartbroken, didn't you now also spiral down that lane as well? And all?
And this, I've never, in my addiction, I've never had a problem with loose sexuality when I'm high. In fact, when I get drunk, I am intolerable. I want to fight. I don't want anybody to touch me.
Wow.
I've never actually had that problem.
Nice contraceptive.
Yes. But of course, all these other negative things actually came later on. The kleptomania, the abusive, everything, it came on later.
So even the stealing graduated from the simple one of home alcohol.
Yes.
Into what else now? Were you now
into stealing
picking
money,
clothes?
still picking people's money. We are here together. Maybe we are going for lunch. You say, let me go for a bathroom break. I just take from your purse.
Because you want it to.
Because I want, when the dinner is over, I want to go and indulge my alcoholism. Yeah.
That, for even a boy child, creates a deep sense of stigma and ostracizing from the community. People begin to look at you as a loser and all that.
Yes.
For a girl, I want to believe it even hits harder. Did you feel like the world had left you and it never bothered you that you needed to catch up and maybe?
I think when you are struggling with that disease, you justify everything as long as the end result is getting your drug of use.
Now you call it a disease.
Yes.
Then what did you call it?
I called it a bad habit.
But a habit that you were happy to be in.
I wasn't happy, but now I was far gone.
You were captive in there.
Yes, I was
the
captive.
Dopamine
like
needed.
I told you when we started, I didn't like, even up to the point I stopped drinking, I didn't like the point of
the taste of
alcohol, but I liked the feeling of being high. Of course, after some time, I stopped being high because just tipsy, because every time I would take a sip, I would just immediately get drunk.
Carol, is there any particular experience while in there that you may want to share with us? Something that you look back as a little story of, there was this day when I got drunk and this happened to me. Like the most grotesque of moments.
The most grotesque moment I've had in my drinking career.
I love that choice of words.
Because I never used to keep a job, that I would hold down my drinking.
I was about to ask you, and eventually get employed anywhere?
Yes, I did, many times. Yeah.
And your employers would just...
Surprisingly, I was very, very good at what I'm still very, very good at whatever I do. But the moment I would put in something, everything.
So you'd stop working, or you'd not even show up at all?
I would give excuses for time off. Yeah. Then other instances, I would just go hang. I can give an example. My first job was at Europe Car in Zambia Road. And one time we were going to meet a client, me and my manager. We were going to meet a client. It was a public holiday, so he told me, let me find you in office. He came and found me slumped on the desk with a bottle of warrant nearby. And he was with a client.
That was your last day at the job, I guess.
There had been much worse days when I would come drunk and start abusing my boss, the directors. There had been worse days. But like all my bosses used to love me, used to make excuses for me, gave me some time to put myself back together. I don't know if I took advantage of that grace or the addiction had gone beyond me.
That one grotesque moment.
Yes, my grotesque moment came in 2016.
Okay.
But by now...
That's less than 10 years ago.
Yes, but by now I was no longer living at home. I was living in a ghetto in Nakawa. Yes.
There is even that part of that life story?
Yes, I was living in a ghetto, sleeping on a bench in a bar. In a kafunda, a bar is too dignified a word to call the place I was living.
Carol, how did you transit from being a professor's daughter, a graduate of university,
yes,
someone that had been in formal employment, a beautiful lady like you, and then you eventually end up in what you just described?
Addiction knows no status. We are all one bad decision away, one disease away, one mistake away from addiction.
One sip away from addiction.
One sip away from addiction.
Scaring me.
Yes, so that grotesque moment came when I was living in the ghetto. Of course, I had not been taking care of myself a long time. And I'm a woman. I wasn't bathing, I wasn't grooming myself. So these guys come, I used to drink with them, because by now my friends were people who carried the luggage from the bus, wheelbarrow pushers. Those were the people that I was hanging out with. People who should never even shake my hand.
With a long stick. But now here they were in close embrace with you.
Yes, so they called me and they convinced me that we were going to drink from somewhere else, not in the ghetto that day. I was excited. We are going to change location because I'm here morning, evening, night. So we are going to change location.
Did you have a particular name they refer to you as?
They used to call me head girl.
In drinking spaces,
yes,
there's always some kind of moniker that they give you.
Yeah,
they said head girl.
Yeah, head girl. I haven't bathed. I haven't done anything. Of course, by then I didn't have shoes. I used to wear slippers, one blue, one green. That is if I was lucky enough to get someone to throw them there. And they called me. I came excited that we were going to change location. They had purchased a bucket, they had fetched water, they had sponges and soap. And they bathed me right after the flyover near the traffic lights.
Of where exactly?
Of Nakawa.
In the middle of?
Just by the roadside.
On the Jinja Kampala highway?
Yes.
They stripped you.
They stripped me and kept on the bare minimums and scrubbed me and bathed me and said, we are tired of you smelling for us. This is the dysfunctional part. It was around 10 a.m. It was still morning.
But during the day?
Yes. It affected me for a short time because I couldn't watch Agatari Kung Fu. I was convinced that it would be there. But this is the dysfunction of that very grotesque moment. I got up after they had bathed me. I went right into the bar and I asked for more alcohol.
Feeling fresh and and clean.
It didn't register on me that you should now be ashamed, should be embarrassed.
I can imagine the crowd that gathered around.
And I was in a homosexual relationship at that time.
What's that?
A homosexual relationship is when you're exchanging sex for shelter. Yes, so there was someone who was giving me boarding because sometimes I would get tired of sleeping on the bench. Yeah, then I go there. And he was also among the spectators, looking at me being bathed by goons of Nakawa.
Well, that must have been very exciting for him because I'm sure he was equally being affected by your state of hygiene affairs. And this time he got a mob to do the heavy lifting.
Yeah, so I would think that was the moment I should have thought about some.
Now, Carol, in all honesty, I'm still gobsmacked by that. As a father of daughters, I can't imagine my daughter has to go through something like that. But even if I hated anybody, gladly I don't, or at least not none that I can remember, I wouldn't wish them to go through a moment like that. But you went through it.
Yeah,
and you're here on Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate.
Yes.
And you're looking back with the benefit of hindsight. There must have been, I'm for a moment words failed, but oh my. So beyond the shame of, when you were out there, your parents knew that you were out there. They didn't bother to look for you.
They knew, but I think they wanted that decision to come for me. They had tried many times to come for me, but I would go home, stay for like 3-4 days, and then run away from home. Sometimes I would run away from home and stay like at a neighbor's place. And when the neighbor is a shamba person somewhere. And my dad would send me messages, you've left your dogs here, you've left your bed here, and seriously, you're living with those people. But I think you come to a moment in your life when you have sunk so low
that there is no
that you don't feel any worth in you. When I would be home, I would feel like the dirtiest, lowest person. And it was not their fault. So sometimes I would do things just so that they send me away. So
your siblings?
My siblings used to look for me, but I would hide. Of course, when you're in addiction, you cannot have a phone. So I would hide. After some time, they started calling me Houdini.
What does that mean?
Houdini used to be a character who would just disappear. I would hide, and I have a brother of mine who would say, you leave her, she will show up. And I always showed up after some time.
Very quickly, how do they feel about you now?
They are extremely happy, especially my brothers. I think that my brothers suffered more than my sisters. My sisters are all independent. They believe if they've made an intervention and we've not changed,
that's your cross to
they've done their part. But my brothers really stuck, all of them. Stuck, would look for me, I would hide, they would try to gather me. And so I think at this point, my parents just wanted me to come by myself, to realize that, okay, I have a home, let me get out of this life. But now I was comfortable with this life where I could drink as much as I wanted, do what I wanted, black out on the bench, wake up, drink again with no one asking me, why are you drinking? Well, it was comfortable at that time.
Incredible life stories of Simon Kasyate. Let's take a break. When we return, I think it's only important that Carol tells us about that Damascus moment, the moment that Saul becomes Paul, the moment that Carol Kyomuhendo, as she was referred to by her siblings, the character just disappears to go and indulge, transforms into the Carol that we're having a conversation with right now. We'll be back. It's Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
There is a girl out there going through exactly what Carol went through, and yet that girl has no hope on their own, or has no feel that life ought or should change. But that girl's kith and kin have lost all hope in the fact that they can recover. And if you doubt that they can recover, Carol is the postcard image of that recovery, and she'll be telling us what she's currently doing in that regard of helping others like her was come back onto the rail, away from the derailment.
Yes.
Carol bathed on the Ginger Kampala highway in broad daylight, in a busy market like Nakawa.
Yes.
What was your Damascus moment? Do you remember?
Yes, I remember it was 12th May. It was Mother's Day, 2024, actually just last year. Yes. And I had done everything, Simon. I had been to rehab 3 times. I had been to all kinds of doctors. I've been to every psychiatrist.
Well, I mean, all kinds of doctors. That includes
traditional,
and is not limited to which doctors?
Traditional, native, all those doctors, psychologists, psychiatrists. Everything had failed. My family had given up. I was alone. Literally and in all senses. Yeah. And so it was.
Now I don't even think you are marketable enough to get into a homosexual relationship. You know, just
no,
because nobody really wanted to sleep with you.
Surprisingly, now I had even left the ghetto. Now I was back in Barara, but I had got a job in Barara, but lost it again to the disease.
I'm interested in how from the ghetto you can clean yourself up a little bit, get a job, and then slide.
I had a stint in rehab during COVID time. Yes. Yeah. So they took me, locked me up for 6 months, and then I came back, and I happened to be in Barara. I couldn't go anywhere else, and my auntie gave me a job in a big hotel in Barara, and I started. I was good for about a year.
Wow.
Relapsed. I went to watch the car ride, the motor ride.
So all this 1 year you were in there working, you didn't touch?
No.
Not a drink? Then just one day you go for a social event?
Yes.
And that first sip? And
I had never gone to a motor ride. I don't know how they have fun at a motor ride. And I remembered when you have a beer or two, you can
begin to hear the revs in your head.
Yes, and I think the biggest mistake we make when we have just started sobriety is we become overconfident. And
if I can push on,
and I say, you know, that week beer cannot. Yes. Now, because I had been drinking also
hardcore.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I had drunk, let me give you an experience that came in 2012. In 2012, I had even actually started doing my master's, and I drank with 2 guys. There was a Waraji promotion in Nankulabi at the depot. And we went, Ugandans should regulate these things.
Don't start.
So we went for that Waraji promotion. The big mineral water bottle was 1,000 shillings. We drank, of course I blacked out. I don't know how I got home, but I was home.
But you finished the bottle? Yes. You don't remember where it stopped?
I don't know where I stopped or if, but these 2 guys that I drank with, they had a salon in Nankulabi, and they were sleeping in that salon. The next day they woke up dead. Okay, you don't wake up when they were dead. And the cause of death was alcohol poisoning.
You drank with guys?
I drank with those
How
two
to
guys.
drunk them?
And then,
And remained alive?
and
They died?
yes.
And I suspect you drank more than them in terms of quantity?
I don't know. I don't know, because at some point I blacked out.
Now, that's not the most grotesque part. I think that's now the most macabre part.
Yeah. And I think it should have at least scared me into some sort of sobriety.
Nothing. Instead, it emboldened you to
Yes,
say,
now
I am Kawa now.
Yes, now I say, these people, I was with them. Because at this
Now
point I was just always excusing my behavior.
So now you mourn their death by drinking.
Now I've found a reason to mourn their death. Yeah. So we was still at the Damascus experience. I was jobless. I was in Bara. My family had given up on me. There's only one person in my life who has never up to now given up on me, and she was helping me out in some ways. So I just got up. It was a Sunday. It was Mother's Day, and I said, you know what? Let me go to church. What am I doing here?
You were at home, at her home.
No, I had a very small car. Now you can imagine a house of 40,000. What does it look like?
Were you able to stretch your legs from that house?
You could, but in Bara things are not as expensive as Kampala. So I went to church with no intention at all.
Drink the night
yes,
before?
I was even actually shaking. I was very badly off, but something just told me, go to church. With no intention other than just being there. I don't know why I went there up to now. Then when the altar call came, I actually got up drunk. And even when I was standing up, I was staggering. And in my mind, I was like, let me do this. And after that, I go and look for the nearest place where I can drink something to steady my nerves.
Carol.
Yes, so the altar call came. I went, I got born again, and things started changing from there. I wasn't completely sober. I would go in and out of sobriety. Mm-hmm. But from that day on, my life started changing.
Today, how changed is it? Do you still...
No.
When was the last time you had a drink?
I last had a drink on 11th April this year. And that was a planned thing. I said my friend had a baptism for her child, for her son. And I had been sober for some time, but I was still not sure. Mm-hmm. Then I had made the decision. Because now I was tired, I was getting bad hangovers. And I said, on this day, because of Mama Esther's baptism, I will drink 2 clubs and I will never drink again. And that's how it has been since. Even those 2 clubs, I threw them up. Maybe God was listening.
Just 2 clubs and your body ejects them?
Yes. And after that, the next day, I sold off the few things I had left. Of course, I think I even had only a mattress and a bed cover left. I sold them off, got a mat and something to cover myself, and I went to a church in Bara. And I stayed there and I said, God, now the battle belongs to you.
You went just to lay yourself in church and stay?
I was sleeping on the floor of the church.
For how long were you there?
I was there for about a month and a half.
And people would come see you and just...
A sister of mine came to see me and she broke down and cried and said, what is this? And so they were making arrangements to get me somewhere. But remember, I still had no jobs, no marketable skills by now because of my age, nothing to do. But when I was praying, when I was in church, I remember I used to pray to God. I said, God, I've made that decision to stay sober. The next job you give me, I want it to be a job where I can help people who are like me. And that's what I'm doing now.
That job came?
Yes.
What are you doing?
I am an addiction counselor at Uzima Ministries. It's on Entebbe Road in Seguku.
And these guys you counsel actually believe you? They listen
It's
to you?
easier to believe someone who has been through the same experience. So yes, and that is why there is Alcoholics Anonymous.
Carol, this is just close of September. You last had a drink in April. Maybe you're right with what you told me at the beginning of the program, that you are an alcoholic.
In recovery.
In recovery.
Yeah.
So we can't discount the fact that maybe over Christmas I could take you out for a drink.
No, it won't happen.
You are that determined?
I am that sure that I'll never drink again.
I do have a sense that you are actually picking your resolve and embodiment from the people that you actually counsel. That you are into this job to actually get yourself, you're counseling someone, but I think you're also using the moment to speak to yourself.
Yes.
You're drawing their negative energy away as it also merges with yours away.
Yes, it also gives you a sense of accountability. Yes, people are listening to me, telling them this and this. Now it's not even reasonable.
But Carol, let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, alcohol and substance abuse comes with very many other attendant problems, if I may.
Yeah.
You could pick up diseases you possibly didn't have. I mean, look, you were available there and all that. And at the risk of really infringing so much onto your privacy, but you maybe should share that side of it. Now that you're recovered, are you also dealing with other attendant things that you picked up along the way? Did you maybe pick up an unwanted pregnancy? Do you have a child you're raising? Did you possibly pick up a disease that you think you're grappling with? Is there any complication? Did you lose a limb or something? Tell me.
No. I've been, I don't know if it's lucky or unlucky that even through that life of addiction, I never got pregnant. Of course, there were those, I call them rapes. Because, there were those times that guys take advantage of you. I never got pregnant.
Well, I think they would find the eggs a little bit out of sobriety.
they
were staggering.
Yes, I did have some. I got liver disease. Yes. Fortunately, it had not gotten to cirrhosis. Yeah, I dealt with it, but it's a long-term thing.
It's something you are aware of.
Yes,
that your liver is not 100%.
Yes, but
even we know that the liver is a self-regenerating
organ. But remember, even after the doctors had warned me, it took me 3 days. I was in Chirudo for 10 days.
On dialysis?
No, just treating the liver. Yeah, and after the doctors warned me, they said, if you drink alcohol again, you're going to now lose your life. It didn't take me 3 days. I drank again, heavily. So that didn't make an impact. It didn't stop me from indulging. Yes, I still struggle with it. Sometimes you feel it, it makes you aware that it's not yet okay, but at least I think it's manageable.
Wow.
Yeah.
Other than counseling people and all that, where do you see yourself, Carol, in the short term, medium term, or long term? If I were to have this conversation with you maybe 5, 10 years, 15 years from today, what kind of Carol do you
envision myself
to be?
I think my dream is to still spread the message of recovery. Because the reason I'm here, Simon, I want people to know that we recover. We get better. People who have seen me when I was at my worst don't believe I am the same person.
I can imagine. Yes. So even you don't believe yourself.
Even me, sometimes I wake up and I don't believe. Yeah, but we do recover and we do get back into society. It's a slow and painful progress. But
the shame that comes along, do you feel embarrassed sometimes, like walking with your head high, maybe in some places? Would you like comfortably go to Nakawa Market to shop for groceries?
Yes, I still do. I still even go and check on them because I'm grateful for that lady who gave me shelter in the almost 8 years I spent in that ghetto.
You were 8 years in the ghetto?
Yes.
So you go back there?
I go back there. Sometimes I sit, we have a soda, we have maybe some pork, and I come back and go back home. The shame is there, but when you start to recover, those are the things you have to get rid of, the negativity. If you keep holding on to the shame, it limits your recovery.
Have you gotten back into a romantic relationship, if I may ask?
I did in that time that I was sober, when I was in Bara.
Did this person get to know about your history?
He knew because I told him.
And
I told him beforehand, and he's an amazing person.
Okay.
I'm not with him anymore because I drank and then did the unforgivable.
You beat him?
No, I didn't beat him. I did something that really, really pissed him off, and he has never forgiven me up to date. But I think I still believe I was at my happiest in that time. I was stable. I was the best I could possibly be. I don't like being domesticated, but I was domesticated for the time I was with him. And he's just a lovely person, and I just thank God for the time that I spent with him.
We always what we call perennial optimists on this program. Perhaps if he watches this clip, he may reconsider.
There are some people that make up their mind and it's finished.
We can never say never. Again, looking at future prospects and where you see yourself, Carol, there are certain personal development goals that someone has. I mean, I don't also think that you, in as much as you want to help and make as many people recover as possible, there are certain personal development goals you want for yourself. Do you want to go back and complete your masters? Do you want possibly to say, I can now get into another formal job that's higher paying, but still take off time to counsel and help others recover as part of my CSR?
I think, yes, I've always, even before all this happened to me, I've always been passionate about children.
I was about to ask.
Yes, I'm very passionate about children, and in the long term, I'll still do this, but I want to do something like an orphanage or a home for children. That's where my passion lies. And eventually, that is what I'm going to do.
But you haven't yet had a child of your own.
It's God who gives children. What if He doesn't? He never gives me. I will just get children by association.
To whom God has given the children, but they are never take care
I'll
of them.
be like St. Paul, not married, not childless, but helping others.
And writing letters.
And writing letters, yes. Speaking of writing, I want to start on a book of my journey.
I was about to say, this is the manuscript, part of it,
yes,
onto that book.
Yes, I've had so many people who have approached me to write a book about my life, and I used to think about it, but I didn't think I was emotionally ready. But I'm sure at least I will start by the end of this year.
Start tonight.
I think so.
Right.
At least I will get a title.
Exactly. No, it's actually the opening lines that are the most important.
Okay.
And I think you have more than just enough opening lines to go on.
Yeah.
Do you feel under pressure when you look back at maybe some of your peers, some of your friends, some members of your family with whom you were at the same level in our formative years, now possibly, running huge corporate jobs and, running families successfully? Do you feel a sense of being left behind and so you the pressure of trying to catch up and all?
Yes, I don't feel the pressure to catch up, but I have those feelings of being left behind. And this is as recent as about 2 weeks ago. When I was in Barara, I was working as a secretary at that hotel. And because it's a big hotel, ministries have workshops there, NGOs have workshops there. So sometimes, because I would also know who's coming for what workshop.
Exactly.
When I would see like an orgy of mine amongst the people who are going to be there, I would hide for that whole period.
So they don't see she's an executive.
Yes,
for you
yes.
Secretary.
They are in the UN, and when we were in school, these people thought that by 30 I would be one of those top achievers. So I would hide. And like I said, I think this is the last thing that I'm still dealing with, still being left behind. I'll give you an example. About 2 weeks ago, my siblings, my cousins, called me for a very nice day out. One, I was very happy because now I felt like I was
You
starting
belong.
to come back in the groups. So I went for a very nice, we went for a very nice day at the spa. I went for a massage. I went to saunas, which I had not seen. We had a very good dinner at an expensive place. I came back and I was feeling at the lowest I've felt in a long time, because I felt like I was not part of that group. I was the odd man out at that sitting, because I felt like when they are paying the bill, I should also be
Able to
in my
get
get my bag and give something. I felt like really I was still behind, and
And we're happy that to get the feeling out of you, you didn't grab a drink.
no. In the next day, I had to thank God that resentment hadn't taken me back to a drink. But now something that should have made me extremely happy and know that my family has now started taking me back. Instead, all those feelings of happiness were negated by this resentment, the bitterness. Maybe it's not so much resentment as bitterness, like I would also be among these people. I would also be one of those who can say, let's go for a massage. I would also be, you feel left behind, and it's something that I'm still struggling with.
Talk about still struggling with something, Carol. Do you have a sounding board? Someone, a friend, maybe someone you speak to, especially about things like those when you're at a low moment, or someone with whom you want to share a happy moment with, just to talk?
Yeah.
Or have we left that to God?
No, I have one of...
Because I know addiction also puts you in a space where what would be the friends you need now?
Yeah. No, I think I have, in our family, we don't call them cousins. I have a sister of mine, she's called Jerry. God bless you, Jerry. She has been my foundation, my rock in this process. She's always there. She's not biased. When I tell her now I feel like this, the worst thing, she's never been an addict, but she's always there for me. So when I feel things are overwhelming, I always kind of run to her. Then of course I have my people who are like my mentors in recovery. I can mention Bill Bekunda. That one I think is tired of me.
He's been on the program sharing his life story as well.
Yes, he's tired of me. I call him, I say, now I'm having a bad day. Hey, they are going to get worse. He's
brutally honest.
Yes, and then I have someone called Derek Miganda. He has also been he's in long-term recovery. That one has even ever picked me and taken me to rehab himself. Yeah, on his own bill.
And so you've kept,
yes,
that network.
Yeah,
that
because I know they are superiors in this. Yeah.
These things have
These things have happened to them. They've gone over them, and they have years of recovery.
Wow.
Yeah. So I call them and tell them this is going wrong, and I say, okay, let me come and pick you up. We go for coffee.
The story of Carol is a story that can be shared by very many ladies out there, and you can bet I have tried, this program has tried to get just one lady to come and share their incredible life story of recovery, or even no recovery, just for us to understand the depth of this issue. So for you, Carol, we say thank you.
Thank you for giving me the platform.
No, thank you for allowing to be on the platform.
Yes.
Matter of fact, our usual way of saying thank you would say, let's have a drink. But then I realized I could be thanking you.
There is a saying that we say that we rise by lifting others.
True.
Yeah. So if I can help even one person avoid the things I did, to go to the depths that I sank to, that would be my greatest satisfaction.
Wow, that's powerful.
Because it's bad enough to be an alcoholic, but a woman alcoholic, I think, first of all, society judges us twice, thrice as hard as they do me. And I don't know if it's nature. We are also not genetically strong enough to handle these substances that we grip on our own. So I wish that more ladies would come out. I wish that we would speak out because this thing is becoming a huge problem. I went to Utavika some time back to share with them. I found that thing was overflowing. And I didn't know at what point it got to this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I normally want to ask one question.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've forgotten to ask you. So what's your favorite dish now?
Matoke and groundnuts.
Oh, that makes the two of us. But for me, there must be some meat somewhere.
No, me just groundnut paste is okay for me.
I'm talking about drinking.
Oh,
What's your favorite drink now?
Pepsi. I've always been a Pepsi girl.
I'll ask them to pay for this advert on the program. Water
Pepsi is Pepsi.
Water tastes bitter?
I've never liked water, and then because I used to overdrink it when I had hangovers, it now just became a bad reminder of those days.
Do you do any exercise now, physical? Do you feel you want to get physical, like take a run?
No.
Why?
Because I've never liked exercise at all.
You only used to swing your hand.
And maybe staggering down the road. That was enough exercise.
So what do you do to pass your time?
I read. I like reading. I like writing.
So
sometimes I just pin down what I'm thinking at that time.
What are you reading now?
I am reading a book by Dr. Gaber Matt. He's a Canadian physician that deals especially in alcoholism and drugs abuse.
So your reading literature is geared towards supporting your recovery?
No, I read everything, but I read a little bit of it. It's called In the Realms of Hungry Ghosts. He thinks addiction is like hungry ghosts that can never satisfy. So I read just a bit of it and I was captivated.
And now you're right.
Because it's like almost like a series of testimonies. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you, Simon.
This conversation has to end. We're happy that you came around.
Thank you.
We'll be back next time, same place, with yet another incredible life story. With I, Simon Kasyate. Goodbye.
Everyone has a life story to tell. But an incredible life story is shared and told differently.